Hey everybody, it's Maddie here with AltCoin Buzz. Hope you're all doing very, very well today. And right off the bat, I just wanted to alert your attention to the altcoinbuzz.io website, specifically our About section. So if you haven't already checked this out, it's a great page to swing by and you can get a sense for the team, the guys and the girls that are working for you, the Altcoin Buzz Army. So here you're going to find the profiles of all your favorite writers and authors and vloggers and even those people that are a little bit more behind the scenes. And everybody's got a very friendly bio. They're encouraging you to reach out to them, to correspond, to provide feedback. So you can find everybody here and it's worth checking out. There is one glaring omission, however. I'm not listed and it's a little bit of an awkward story. I sent Jeff a photo of myself, a headshot. And he said, came back and said, it's just too handsome. We can't use it. The vibe is going to be thrown off. And so I'm not sure what to do next. I mean, we're at a standstill. He is the boss. But this is certainly less than ideal. So I'm going to have to update you guys on that situation as it develops. But in the meantime, let's take a look at the news. Great article here by Daniel, who writes that cryptocurrency exchange Binance is more profitable than the biggest bank in Germany, Deutsche Bank. This is the kind of headline that, even myself as a very enthusiastic proponent of crypto, I almost have to pause and scratch my head because we're talking about these institutional, these traditional powerhouses. Deutsche Bank is no small potato. So this was just a very alarming, or maybe astonishing, I should say, headline to read. But it adds up. For the first time in history, a digital currency trading platform has surpassed a huge and renowned financial institution based on profits, and it all happened in Q1 of 2018. So Binance, by trading value, recorded a $200 million profit in Q1 of 2018, whereas Deutsche Bank recorded during that same period of time $146 million. So look, I mean, they're still profitable. We're not saying they're going out of business tomorrow, but 200 beats 146. Changpeng Zhao, CEO of Binance, wrote that Binance is the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange. In the first 3 months from the start, profits amounted to, a more modest, 7,500,000. But in the second quarter from the start, profits went up to $200 million. So my suspicion, guys, is that initially they took some of their profits, they reinvested them, they restructured as part of perhaps a growth strategy. Don't forget, they had all kind of FUD storms that they were dealing with. They had to relocate. They were dealing with regulatory issues in Asia. So perhaps, they diverted some of their profits to deal with those obstacles. But it's amazing to see just how meteorically they rose as of the second quarter. That's quite incredible. So by contrast here, you have Christian Sewing, the CEO of Deutsche Bank, who describes the fact that they're going to have to stabilize a few areas. They're going to have to restructure, and he's committed $800 million to that restructuring plan, which unfortunately will include a massive cut of employees, but it's all designed to increase profitability in 2018. Daniel goes on to describe here something that's also related and very interesting. The Pantera Group, which is a blockchain investment fund, their CEO, Dan Morehead, is describing the fact that he feels the crypto market cap could reach one day $40 trillion. So that's quite an unbelievable figure. I mean, we're still at less than $500 billion at the time of this recording. Right? We're between 4 and 500 billion. So 40 trillion, I mean, it's possible. One day it's eventually possible. I'm not saying it's not. But at the same time, guys, this is the type of individual. We talked yesterday about having a biased opinion with Bill Harris, and I suppose the same has to be cautioned here. This is the CEO of his own blockchain investment fund. Of course, he's going to be enthusiastic. He's going to be excited about the future of crypto, as am I. I think as we all are, but this is something perhaps to be taken with a grain of salt. So make sure you check out Daniel's article on altcoinbuzz.io for more information about this Pantera CEO Dan Morehead. You could check out this article on Yahoo Finance. Going back to what we were describing, we're talking about Changpeng Zhao and Binance. So this is an interesting article that I came across. Binance signs agreement with Bermuda government on 15 million investments and jobs. So $15 million worth of investments and jobs. Yesterday, we talked a little bit about the crypto havens of the world that are emerging, specifically Malta. And it looks like Bermuda is now joining that select group, that particular circle of crypto havens. So Premier and Minister of Finance of Bermuda, David Burt, he signed a memorandum of understanding with Binance Group on April 27th, and the MOU establishes funding for educational programs related to fintech and blockchain startups. So this is fantastic. So according to the Memorandum of Understanding, Binance will spend up to $10 million on university-level training for Bermudians in blockchain technology development and compliance through Binance Foundation. And the company will also provide up to $5 million in investments in the new Bermuda-based blockchain companies through Binance Labs. So this is really cool. And Zhao said that the research conducted by Binance shows that Bermuda has one of the leading regulatory bodies for virtual currency. I think that's really encouraging. That's great to see, guys. As you may remember, yesterday we talked about Malta, article here by Zach from a couple days ago, how Malta is the new hotbed. It's the hottest country for cryptocurrency exchanges. And you may recall we looked briefly at this graph, which I'm going to enlarge here if the computer will cooperate. So we looked at this graph where Malta is really leading the way in terms of daily volume on the exchanges at just under $1.2 billion. Malta is a very small country. It's only 430,000 odd people that live in Malta. The fact that it has created this new and emerging and growing identity for itself as a crypto haven is fantastic. And you see some other small countries as well. Look at Belize here. Belize creeping up on $800 million in volume. Belize is only 366,000 people. That's its population. And Bermuda, which may soon move its way up on this list, Bermuda is only 65,000 people. So I mentioned it yesterday that you have these smaller nations that may be known for other things, maybe known for other industries. Certainly Belize is known as a tax haven. But you have these nations that are redefining themselves as these crypto havens, and it's going to be really interesting to see how that develops. They're giving themselves a great competitive advantage, in my opinion, in that sense. So moving on to other news, for all the SAFEX fans out there, we have a lot of new developments actually. So SAFEX blockchain announced for the end of June or early July. So this includes SAFEX cash mining and SAFEX cash airdrop and migration from Bitcoin to SAFEX blockchain. The roadmap is also coming. So an update to the roadmap will be published by SAFEX on May 3rd. So that's coming up in less than a week. Pretty exciting. Let's all stay tuned for that. The first mover program has been launched. The wallet has been updated, including an update to the user interface. And SAFEX has also been in the news recently via John McAfee. So I'm sure some of you are going to be big fans of McAfee and some of you not so much. He's a controversial guy. But as he describes here in a tweet, so AMA, ask me anything with CEO of SAFEX. When asked whether he paid me to recommend SAFEX, he truthfully replied, no. I consistently report that I have never been paid to recommend a coin. Who would pay me? It's stupid. For ICOs and everything else, of course, I get paid lots. Interesting. I get paid lots. So that's a classic McAfee there. He's an interesting guy. I'd recommend you follow him because if nothing else, and even if you can't stand his personality, he does alert you to some of the cool goings on in the world of crypto. Speaking of somebody else that you may not be too happy about, and we did discuss him yesterday in the news. So here's a follow-up. In an attempt to regain relevance, ousted PayPal CEO says crypto traders are drinking the Kool-Aid. So mere days after his first public attack on Bitcoin as a scam, remember he called it a scam, a pump and dump, a scheme, former PayPal CEO Bill Harris has said that crypto traders are drinking the Kool-Aid. So he's at it again, and going back to the point that I made a couple of times now, guys, this is a biased opinion. We talked yesterday about the superiority of crypto and blockchain over traditional payment systems and even the newer payment systems like PayPal. You may recall that example of $100 million worth of Litecoin being traded and it cost the sender 40 cents. That's 100,000-fold difference versus the fees that would otherwise be associated with PayPal. So I can't say I really blame Harris. I think he's floundering here. I think PayPal is becoming increasingly obsolete and irrelevant. However, if I were him, I think I would go about this more tactfully, because all of these statements, as Deanna pointed out in a recent article on altcoinbuzz.io, they just hold no water. His arguments don't make any sense. He's not backing them up. It seems a little bit desperate to me as somebody that's is a little bit more knowledgeable in the world of crypto. So for some other people, maybe he's convincing them. I don't know, but this seems a little bit desperate to me. So returning to the theme of stuff that we covered yesterday, I got to give a shout out to Renee Herrera, who pointed out on in the YouTube comments that, hey, talking about Dan Bilzerian, talking about Kanye West, what about Pitbull? And what I didn't know is that Pitbull has nearly just as many followers as Kanye West. So they're both, I believe, just under 28 million or so. So Pitbull is hugely influential. And what he wrote here on April 24th was that it's time for a major change in the music industry. Blockchain developers, we need your help to empower artists worldwide. So this is pretty cool. Pitbull is turning to blockchain in hopes of saving the music industry. Wow. I had no idea about this, so one of our commenters pointed it out, and my thanks to them. If you click on this link, Smackathon Blockchain Music Challenge, presented by Pitbull plus Emerge Americas. So this is something that's ongoing, in fact, from April 24th to May 25th, 2018. And essentially, it's a challenge to decentralize the music industry. So we're calling all blockchain hackers to build smart contract applications that disrupt the world of music. And if you click on the guidelines here, what kind of projects are we looking for? So as many use cases there are for Ethereum, having Pitbull and Emerge Americas as a partner, we are looking specifically for music-related projects. Here are some ideas we have collected to get the ball rolling. So including but not limited to representing a song's copyright, collectively curating music through token curation market, creating playlists, games for music generation on blockchain, selling concert tickets. So this is pretty cool. I gotta say, this is certainly more in-depth than the post that we saw by either Kanye or Dan Bilzerian, and I think that's fantastic. I don't know how successful as a project this will or will not be, but just the fact that it's being discussed with 28 million followers, I see it as a positive. At least that's my perspective. Going back to Dan Bilzerian, just to correct the record, it was also pointed out, and I should have noted that Dan Bilzerian really has his bread and butter in the world of Instagram. So I mentioned that he was a Twitter kind of celeb, a professional show-off. I was basing that off of his Twitter, his tweet. But absolutely right, as pointed out in the comments, Dan Bilzerian is really more of an Instagram guy. Professional show-off, that's the best way I can describe it, with 23 million followers. While we're correcting the record, I also called Kevin Worth of CoinDesk the chief editor of the site. He is the chief executive officer. So I just want to keep it honest, guys, and if I see things, I may be in the habit of doing that in the future. Thanks for those corrections. I did make note of them, and I appreciate that. And so, guys, while we're on the topic of Instagram, make sure you're following Altcoin Buzz on Instagram. And you know, the fun thing about crypto is that you can approach it from all kinds of different angles, and you can appreciate it from different perspectives. On the one hand, you can follow the news meticulously, and you can be involved in the data and the financial reports and whatnot, but there's a great world, there's a great dimension of humor to crypto and to blockchain and to this new world of technology that's emerging. And you know, some of the analysts actually predicted the success and the growth of the crypto market based on the quality of the memes that were being put out. So this is an angle of this world that I hope you guys are appreciating. It's a fun one, and I think we've compiled and collected some of the better memes here on the Altcoin Buzz Instagram feed. So make sure you check that out. Make sure you're following us on Facebook. Make sure you're following us on Twitter. Links are in the description. And of course, guys, as far as YouTube goes, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're following us. And we are always here to accept feedback, to look to new ideas, to accept criticism. We want to interact with the Altcoin Buzz Army as much as possible. So please do accept that invitation. Reach out to us, leave a comment, engage in the discussion, and I wish you all a great Saturday. Happy weekend and happy trading.